Welcome back to Embracing Stories, where we dive into tales that surprise, inspire, and stick with you long after the screen goes dark. Today I've got a story that's equal parts wild and wonderful. It's about a kid, a teacher, a bold claim, and a twist no one saw coming. So settle in because this one's called Teacher Mocks. Meet Jamal Carter. He's 12 years old, a 7th grader at Oakwood Middle School in a small town just outside Atlanta. Jamal's the kind of kid who lights up a room, big smile, quick laugh, and a knack for making friends. He's got a wild imagination, too, always spinning stories about superheroes or epic adventures. But Jamal has also got something else. A quiet confidence that catches people off guard. And that confidence was about to turn his world upside down. Now, enter Mrs. Hargrove. She's Jamal's English teacher, mid-50s, sharp-tongued, and not exactly known for her patience. Mrs. Hargrove runs her classroom like a tight ship. Late homework, detention, talking out of turn, extra laps in pay. She's the type who thinks kids need discipline, not daydreams. Most students just keep their heads down around her. But Jamal? He's not most students. It all started on a random Tuesday. The class was doing one of those icebreaker activities. You know, the ones where you share something about yourself to bond. Mrs. Hargrove stood at the front, arms crossed, calling on kids one by one. "Tell us something interesting about your family," she said, her voice dry as chalk dust. One girl said her uncle was a pilot. A boy bragged about his grandma's cookie recipe. Then it was Jamal's turn. Jamal stood up, chest puffed out a little, and grinned. "My dad's Vin Diesel," he said, clear as day. The room went silent for a split second, then erupted. Kids laughed, some snorted, a few whispered to each other. "Vin Diesel? The Fast and Furious guy?" Mrs. Hargrove's lips twitched, like she was fighting a smirk. She adjusted her glasses and leaned forward. "Vin Diesel," she repeated, her tone dripping with sarcasm. "The movie star? Your father? Really? Jamal?" Jamal didn't flinch. "Yeah," he said, nodding. "That's my dad." The laughter got louder. A kid in the back yelled, "What? You live in a race car?" Another chimed in, "Where's your bald head then?" Mrs. Hargrove didn't stop them. Instead, she crossed her arms and said, "Well, Jamal, I didn't know we had Hollywood royalty in room 204. Maybe you can get him to sign my DVD collection. The class lost it." She thought she'd put the kid in his place, shut down the nonsense. But Jamal just sat down, calm as ever, a little smile tugging at his lips. Most kids would have shrunk under that kind of mockery. Not Jamal. He didn't argue or backtrack. He just let it roll off him, like he knew something they didn't. Mrs. Hargrove moved on, smugly thinking she'd taught him a lesson about making up stories. But here's the thing, she didn't know Jamal's story. Not yet. Jamal lives with his mom, Tanya, in a small brick house on the edge of town. Tanya's a single mom, works long shifts as a nurse, and keeps things together with grit and grace. Jamal's dad? Well, that's where the story gets blurry. Tanya never talked much about him. Just said he wasn't around, that life moved on. Jamal didn't have baby pictures or old letters to piece it together. But a couple of years back, something shifted. Tanya started dropping hints, little comments about your dad's voice or he'd be proud of you. And Jamal, with his big imagination, started wondering. One night, Jamal was watching Fast and Furious, cars zooming, Vin Diesel growling about family, and it clicked. Something about Vin's voice, his swagger. The way he carried himself, it felt familiar, even if Jamal couldn't explain why. He asked his mom, half joking, "Is that my dad?" Tanya laughed, but her eyes flickered, like she was hiding something. "You and your stories," she said. That was it, no denial, no confirmation. For Jamal, that was enough. He decided Vin Diesel was his dad. Maybe not by blood, but in his heart, it fit. Back at school, word spread fast. By lunch, kids were calling Jamal Vin Jr. Some teased him, others thought it was cool. Mrs. Hargrove's jab stuck with him, though. He didn't mind the kids, they were just messing around, but her. She'd made it personal. Jamal didn't say anything, didn't fight back. He just kept being Jamal, funny, kind, unshaken. But the universe? It had plans. A week later, the school announced a special event. Some big-shot donor was visiting, An inspirational guest for an assembly? The principal hyped it up. A celebrity coming to talk about hard work and dreams. No one knew who it was, just that it was a surprise. Jamal, though, he had a feeling. The day of the assembly, the whole school buzzed with excitement. Kids lined up in the auditorium, whispering guesses. Teachers stood along the walls, trying to keep order. Then the principal stepped up to the mic. "Please welcome our guest," he said, grinning wide, "Mr. Vin Diesel." The crowd exploded, screams, cheers, kids jumping out of their seats, and there he was. Vin Diesel in the flesh, striding onto the stage, all muscle and charisma. Jamal's jaw dropped. Mrs. Hargrove's face, priceless. She went pale, her arms uncrossing, her smugness evaporating. Vin started talking, deep voice booming about family, resilience, never giving up. The kids ate it up. But then came the Q&A. A girl asked, "Why'd you come to our school?" Vin smiled. "Heard there's a kid here who's got some guts." Said, "I'm his dad." The auditorium went wild. Heads turned, eyes landed on Jamal. Jamal stood up, heart pounding. Vin squinted into the crowd. "That you?" he called. Jamal nodded, voice steady. "Yeah, I'm Jamal." The room erupted again. Mrs. Hargrove shrank in her seat, her glasses slipping down her nose. Vin waved him up. "Come here, man." Jamal walked to the stage legs, shaky but head high as the crowd chanted his name. On stage, Vin crouched down to Jamal's level. "Heard you've been telling people I'm your dad," he said, grinning. Jamal shrugged, a little sheepish. "Felt true." Vin laughed a big, warm laugh, and pulled him into a side hug. "Takes guts to claim me, kid." "I like that." He turned to the mic. "This guy's got heart." "That's what family's about, blood or not." The crowd roared. Jamal beamed. Mrs. Hargrove didn't say a word. She just sat there, cheeks red, as the assembly wrapped up. After, Vin stuck around, taking pics with kids. He signed Jamal's notebook to my honorary son, "Keep dreaming big," and told him, "Don't let anyone mock your story." Jamal nodded, soaking it in. Back in class the next day, Mrs. Hargrove avoided his gaze. She never brought up Vin Diesel again. Was Vin Diesel really Jamal's dad? Probably not. Tanya never confirmed it, and Jamal didn't care. For him, it wasn't about DNA, it was about belief, about owning his story. That day, he didn't just shut down a doubter, he showed everyone what happens when you stand tall. Mrs. Hargrove learned her lesson the hard way: mock a kid's dream, and the universe might just clap back. So that's the story of Jamal and the teacher who regretted crossing him. It's a reminder. Don T. Judge to quick you, never know who's got a legend in their corner. What do you think? Ever had a moment where life surprised you like that? Drop it in the comments, I'm dying to hear. Thanks for watching Embracing Stories.